Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to our lecturer, Puan Nur Izzah. Today, we want to present about survey on UM students' involvement in part-time jobs.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone. My name is Nur Isa Nabila binti Rahasa, matric number 280482.
My name is Ainumara binti Masri and my matric number is 280555.
Our topic of this project is about UM student involvement in part-time jobs. The importance of this topic is we can know the estimation on how many students been doing part-time jobs while studying, the advantage and disadvantage of part-time jobs, and whether those part-time jobs disturbing their times or not. Part-time job is one that usually requires a person to work fewer hours per work week than their employment deems full-time employment. Due of the COVID-19 pandemic in our country, Malaysia will effect and need to enforce the Movement Controls Order (MCO), and because of the high cost of higher education, many students have found that taking part in part-time jobs, whether it's online or physical jobs, while studying has become a necessity. As we can see, in today's culture, this topic is becoming increasingly visible. Furthermore, there are some advantages and disadvantages for students who would taking part in working their part-time jobs while studying.
The next part is dataset description. All of the information about the dataset is retrieved from the survey that have been done through Google Form that we have constructed to all of UUM students. The datasets refer to 100 UUM students that randomly participated in this survey. There are 12 questions in this survey and 8 of them are qualitative and 4 of the questions is quantitative. Here, you can see the attributes for each question. Our question focus on knowing gender, age, ethnicity, college, type of job, income, duration, affection, advantage, disadvantage, and experience. For gender, we have male and female options, and for age, we have 4 options, which is under 20 years old, 20 to 24 years old, 25 to 29 years old, and 30 years old above. And next, we have ethnicity, which we have Malay, Chinese, Indians, and Siamese as an option. For college, we put College of Business, College of Arts and Science, College of Law, Government and International Studies as an option. And next, we have type of job, which is physical store and online business. And next one, we have income of students who take part-time jobs, which is below 100 ringgit, 100 ringgit to 200 ringgit, 201 ringgit to 300 ringgit, and 300 and above. For the duration hours in part-time job, we have 4 attributes, which is less than 3 hours, 6 to 9 hours, 3 to 6 hours, and 9 to 12 hours. And then, the next question is reasons of students to take part-time job while study, which is to earn pocket money, to further job experience, to develop useful skills, and to get to know society. And next, we want to know whether part-time job is affecting students' study or not. So the answer for these questions, we put yes or no. For advantages in working in part-time job, we give the respondent an options, which is earning some money, gaining a taste of working life, develop useful skills, and having fun and meeting new people. Next, for disadvantages, there are 4 attributes, which is effect on the study, no job security, increased stress, and unstable income. The last question is how long experience of students to take part-time job, which is the options we have below 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 7 to 10 months, and 11 months above.
We can see figure 1.1 shows that the majority of the gender participate in the survey is female with 69% of female respondents, while male contribute to the survey with 31%. Total sample of this questionnaire is 100 respondents. Next, figure 1.2 indicates that the majority of respondents are from the age group 20 to 24 years old with an amount of 71 respondents, followed by the age group 25 to 29 years old with an amount of 18 respondents. The group age under 20 years old have the only 9 respondents, and the group age 30 years old and above have the only 2 respondents. Figure 1.3 shows the ethnicity of a UM student who participate in the survey. 71.7% of them are Malay, 13.11% are Chinese, 11.1% are Indian, and the rest are Siamese. The total respondents in this questionnaire is 99 respondents. Meanwhile, figure 1.4 shows the college of the respondents. The most students that participate in this survey is from CHAS, which is College of Arts and Science with 44%, and the least students participate in this survey is from Colgate, which is College of Law, Government and International Studies. Most of students that participate in this survey taking online business as their part-time jobs while studying, as shown in the figure 1.5, where online business take a higher place with 72%. Next, figure 1.6 indicate that all of the category income are almost the same in percentage, but the amount of income RM100 until RM200 is the most got by students who participate in this survey.
For the next questions, which is how many hours do students work in part-time jobs? Figure 1.7 show that the most of the students work for 3 to 6 hours per day while studying with 37%, followed by less than 3 hours per day with 30%, and 7 to 9 hours per day with 26%, and 10 to 12 hours per day with 6%, and the rest are more than 12 hours per day. For the next questions, which is what is student reason for doing a part-time job? As shown above, the major reason of students who participated in this survey to take part-time job while studying are because to earn pocket money, with the highest percentage, which is 60%. We also want to know, does doing a part-time job affect the respondents' study hours? The total of 57 students agreed that doing part-time job can affect their study hours. Meanwhile, the rest of students, which is 43 more, disagree that part-time job can affect their study hours. We also want to know the respondent opinion in advantages of having a part-time job while studying. Figure 1.10 shows that doing part-time job bring more advantages to students themselves in an aspect of earning some money, with 43 respondents choosing this advantage. However, developing useful skills almost reached the same total of respondents, choosing it as the advantages with 338 respondents. The total of respondents is 100 students. Next, we also want to know opinion of the respondent in disadvantages of having a part-time job while studying. Figure 1.11 shows that doing a part-time job bring more disadvantages to students themselves in aspect of increasing their stress, with 37 respondents choosing this disadvantage. However, the effect on the study almost reached the same total of respondents choosing it as the disadvantages with 30 respondents. The total of respondents is 100 students. The last questions of this survey is students' part-time work experience in months. Figure 1.12 shows only a few respondents with 13% have been working part-time job while studying for more than 11 months, while most of the respondents have been involving themselves with part-time job for about 3 to 6 months, probably due to pandemic COVID-19. Based on the survey that we have conducted for 100 UEM students, a few attributes have been chosen for analysis result.
For box plot, we calculate income in a month UUM students on part-time jobs. We need to define the frequency and the cumulative frequency for every income in a month. There are frequency and cumulative frequency that shown in the table. As we can see here, in a simplest form, the box plots present 5 sample statistics: the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. There are some important calculations. We need to calculate the median of our data sets, which is the second quartile, and we need to calculate the first quartile, and we also need to calculate the third quartile. To find the first quartile, we will be using a formula which is a lower bound the first quartile plus n/4 minus capital F, which is cumulative frequency before quartile 1 plus, and small f actual frequency of quartile 1 times the class width. So after that, we can enter the right value into the formula. 99.5, which is lower bound quartile 1 plus 100/4 minus 23/31 times 100 equal 105.95. The first quartile is 105.95. Next, calculations at the median itself have a formula, and let's say m equal to the lower bound the median class plus n/2 minus capital F of median class, cumulative frequency of median class, the class before the median class, and small f, which is actual frequency of median class, times the class width median class. So after that, we will enter the value, which is we can get the median value. For quarter 2, we will get 186.6. For the third quartiles, the formula was same with quarter 1, but change that n/4 to 3n/4. So we will get and proceed to enter the value in formula, which is we will get 287 for quartile 3. To define interquartile range, value of third quartile minus first quartile. 287 minus 105.95 will get 181.05 for interquartile range. To define the lower and upper limit, we will use the interquartile range, which is the lower limit, first quartile minus 1.5 times interquartile range, and upper limit, third quartile plus 1.5 times interquartile range. After we get all the value for 3 quartiles, we can interpret a box plot as shown in the figure 1. According to figure 1, the box plot shows 3 quartiles. First quartile located at 105.95, the second quartile located at 186.6, and the third quartile is located at 287.13. So thus, the interquartile range is 181.18. Meanwhile, for the lower limit shows that the value which is negative 165.63 and upper limit is 558.58. For second box plot, we calculate time spent students on part-time jobs, their frequency and cumulative frequency for every duration that student working part-time that we have collected. In box plot 2, we will use the formula that has been stated in box plot 1 to define 3 quartiles. For first quartile, negative 0.5 plus 100 over 4 minus 0 over 30 times 4, and we'll get 2.83. Next, the median is 4.66, which is 2.5 plus 50 minus 30 over 37 times 4. And the last quartile, 6.5 plus 75 minus 67 over 26 times 4, and the third quartile is 7.73. As we can see, interquartile range for time spent by student is 4.9. The lower limit is 2.83 minus 1.5 times 4.9 and get negative 4.52, while the upper limit is 7.73 plus 1.5 times 4.9 and will get 15.08. And we will interpret the box plot for times spent by student in figure 1. According to figure 1, the box plot shows 3 quartiles. First quartile located at 3.33, the second quartile located at 5.16, and third quartile located at 1.16, so that the interquartile range is 4.9. Meanwhile, for the lower limit shows the value which is negative 4.52 and upper limit is 15.08.
Result. By using the data that have been obtained in the survey, mean, mode, median and standard deviation have been calculated as shown below. The following above are formula for mean, mode, median and standard deviation. The first one is students' age involvement in part-time job. We create a table of class boundaries, number of students, midpoint, fx, x power of 2, cumulative frequency, and fx power of 2. Next, we include the mean formula to find mean, which is sum of all values divided by number of values. Sum of all values is 2265 divided by number of values, which is 100. And we will get the mean, which is 22.65. Next, we will find mode of this age. Mode, we put the formula of mode and we will get 22.20. And for median, the position of the median class is 50.5. We get it from the formula, which is n plus 1 divided by 2. N is 100 plus by 1 divided by 2, we get 50.5. And we will include the formula of the median and we will get 27 as the median. For standard deviation, we will find variance first and we will get 8.4116 and the standard deviation is 2.9. For the next attributes, we will find median, mode, mean and standard deviations for students' income involved in part-time jobs. First, we will create a table to easy our job, which is clear boundaries, class boundaries, number of students, midpoint, fx, x power of 2, cumulative frequency and fx power of 2. The total of number of students is 100 and the total of fx is 19 and 450,000. So first of all, we will find the mean, and the formula of the mean is sum of all values divided by number of values, and sum of all values is 19 and 450,000 divided by 100 and we get 194.5 as the mean. And the mode, we will include the mode formula and we will get 152.83 as the mode. Next, we will find the median. We will include the median formula and the calculation will be like this, and the final answer will be 186.6 as the median. Finally, we will find the standard deviations. Okay, first we will get the variance first and we will get 11 and 490.9 as the variance based on the variance formula that we have calculated, and we will get standard deviation as 107.66 as the final answer of standard deviation. For the third attributes, which is students' work hours in part-time jobs. So as usual, we will create the table for cost boundaries until fx power of 2, and we will get the total of number of students is 100, and the total of fx we will get 498.5. Okay, so for total of fx power of 2, we get 3,375.75. Okay, next. So likewise, we will calculate the mean, mode, median, and standard deviation for this part. So we will get mean 4.985, and the mode is 4.06, median is 4.66, and the variance is 8.99724, and the standard deviation is 3.00. So for the final attributes is student part-time job experience. So likewise, we do a table and fill in the class boundaries, number of students, midpoint until the fx power of 2, and the total of number of students is 100 students, which is the respondents, and the total of fx is 550, and the total of fx power of 2 is 4,329. So for the mean, we will include the formula, which is sum of our values and number divided by number of values, and we will get 4.5 as the mean. And for the mode, we will include the formula also, and we will get 3.97 as the mode. The next is median. We will get the position of the median class first, and we get 50.5, which is n passed by 1 divided by 2. N is 100. So we will get median by the formula is 4.76. And the last one is standard deviations. We will find the variance, and we get 13.171717 as the variance, and we will get the standard deviation 3.63. Next, we will enter part 4, which is discussion and conclusion. We also divided the questionnaire into 12 parts of questions, such as please choose your gender, how old are you, what school in UM are you now, types of your part-time job, how much is your income in a month, how many hours do you work in a part-time job, what is your reason for doing a part-time job, what are the advantages of having a part-time job and disadvantages, what are the disadvantages, and your part-time work experience. Does doing a part-time job affect the students' study hours, and what is the student's ethnicity? As a conclusion, everyone that participates with this survey is different and have different choices. We have got to learn how to understand and acknowledge their decision. What has been made clear through this pandemic is the importance of having part-time jobs as a student. If part-time jobs can play a role here, it is incumbent upon all of us students to explore more its full potential. I think that's it for our presentation. Thank you.